You were very early to that trend, I feel, and
yeah,
early to TikTok, which is the opportunity, I guess, the arbitrage opportunity. But like you've kind of paved the way of how to execute on there, and I'm sure there's so many people now looking at your brand as like a yardstick, as inspiration. It'd be interesting to hear like a bit about the journey beyond. Obviously started on TikTok. I'm seeing you show up on like influencers that I follow now. You've obviously gone multi-channel. Like, what's the last couple of years been like in terms of that journey?
So when I started Hair Syrup, it's always going to be probably TikTok really sits at the core of it because it's such a natural fit with the brand. Like you said, it was so founder led and there was so much authenticity and it was so. And if that video of me using the hair oil in the first place, what other platform can you show a video of you mixing some oil, putting it on your head and it goes viral and people ask to buy it? That wouldn't happen on Instagram.
So unique,
yeah. It just wouldn't happen on any other social media platform, but it did on TikTok. So it was kind of always at the core of the brand, and I neglected, especially, Instagram and Facebook, stuff like that. I just completely neglected it for ages. I didn't get a professional website built for God knows how long, because I was just the money that was coming in through TikTok, I was like, oh, this is fine. It can just sustain me. But then when we started seeing problems with TikTok Shop, bigger problems, and they started doing things like banning your shop, I was like, okay. And I've got staff who are relying on me, every week to kind of pay them and put food on their table. And I was like, no, we're going to have to diversify here. So invested quite a lot in just traditional print media PR, which I think is really good, help with brand credibility.
You were in PR, weren't you, before?
I did, yeah. So I worked, I did it for a year or so. I wouldn't say I was, I wouldn't say I was a sort of, I don't know, I wasn't exactly a mastermind. No, I wasn't, not quite. But yeah, that's what I did. So I worked, and I did 2 internships and then I got a job. So I did that for about a year and I loved it. It was really fun. And that definitely helped me, I would say. So I always talk about, I didn't have anything when I literally had an iPhone and a measuring jug when I started Hair Syrup, but I did have that as well. So what I did have was a sort of kind of an understanding, because what I did as part of the PR, not that I did it myself, but they used to do a lot of things. And I remember, some clients they would have a product and it would be like, how can we get this into Selfridges or how can we get it into here? So I sort of had a slight understanding of the supply chain. So that definitely helped when it came to, helped it just to wrap your head around how things get sold in the world, because a lot of people, including myself, just don't know. You have your Amazon parcel delivered to you and who actually spends time thinking, how did it get from A to B? But yeah, so I did a lot of media, print, press. Instagram started growing slowly but surely. TikTok was just like, before I knew I had 80k, 100k, 120, 150, and it was just going and going and going. Instagram's more of a slow burn. I've still only got like 80k followers on there now, and I've got nearly 400k on TikTok. So yeah, it's a bit mad. And then last year, we started doing Google ads, spending on Meta, just to kind of really solidify the brand's positioning across, like you said, different sales channels. And yeah, it's I remember being really shocked though, because I didn't spend any money on my accountant. Oh my God, I didn't spend any money on advertising at all, because TikTok was a different world, 3 years ago. And then suddenly it was, oh yeah, am I spending this much a day now on advertising? He was like, what? I was like, yeah, no, I've got to now, because, well, I don't know. I always think we jumped a bit too early with that myself. But anyway, conversation for another day. But yeah, and then started spending on Meta just to really kind of steady ourselves.
Personality side is also really important. I think both of you together really bounce off each other. Lucy's behind the camera here, who like leads obviously the organic social side internally. But like, I think that's important as well, isn't it? Like and that's the difficulty for some founders. I think your unfair advantage is that, one, you're both so ahead of the curve in terms of like trends and just how to speak to that audience. But then also just that personality is important to get that connection with the customer.
Do you know what? Honestly, I think you've hit the nail on the head. And people do say, TikTok they actually will say to us, what is your secret sauce? And I think it is just Lucy and I, and the way that we blend together. And it's really funny, because when Lucy started working for me, we actually, we barely spoke for about 4 months, right? And I'm never one for a slow, talk about like slow burner relationships.
Yeah.
I've always said no, like I'm always a very kind of, when you know, and friends and relationships. And this has completely changed my perspective because Lucy and I barely spoke. And I was never in the office, never saw her really. And she sort of, I'd email her and I'd instruct her, but we weren't that close. And then suddenly, I think it was sort of late last year, September time, we just became really good friends.
What was the spark?
We went to a festival and saw each other there. And we were dancing, having a good
Few
time.
drinks.
Few drinks.
Always helps.
That always helps.
Breaks the barriers down, doesn't it?
Yeah, the Dutch courage. And it was sort of that moment of Lucy was like, so I actually think we could be friends. And I was like,
did we just become best friends?
No, it literally was. And I was like, okay. We're very like black cat, golden retriever energy. And I was like, okay. And then anyway, as time's gone on, so then we started working super, super closely together. So Lucy would come to things with me and we'd do, I'd invite her and we'd do content days and stuff. And then we sort of realised, God, we got loads in common, like on a personal level. And then people started picking up on the fact that Lucy and I sound similar. So we've got similar accents, similar voices. People say we look similar, but they're like, Lucy had comments on the video, oh my gosh, you've dyed your hair blonde. Or since when did Lucy Palmer dye her hair dark? And then, of course, the classic thing is we've got the same name. So it was the two Lucys. But I think it's just this, and it was completely natural. And we can see, and no shade or hate because like it's fair enough, but we see other brands trying to do what we're doing. And I'm like, if only you knew. I didn't go out there going, right, I'm going to find someone with the same name as me, who looks vaguely similar to me, who's the same height as me, who has got the same sense of humour to me, who's got the same content style to me. Like, I didn't engineer any of this. It just sort of naturally fell into place. And I think business owners, when they try and do things that other people are doing, I just feel like, oh my God, you're probably missing out on your own genius little golden nugget. Because you've probably got something and now you're trying to do something else.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like people always look outwards rather than really taking a step back and looking inwards of like, what is our unique competitive advantage as a brand?
Unfair advantage.
We talk a lot about that.
Oh
like, is it the story?
100%.
Is it there's so many different things it can be. Is it a personality? All of those things.
Do you know, I've got a list in my office, right? And I did this probably around September time, actually. And I've got a list in my office, and that's exactly right, looking outward instead of inwards. And my list, again, I didn't consciously realise I was doing this, but I remember thinking to myself, what makes hair syrup and me different to other people? And I've got the most random things on my list. I've got things like my dad, because everyone on TikTok loves my dad. I was like, my brother's a professional rugby player, like all these really personal things that people actually really care about and are actually really interested in. And like I said, when I see other brands like look to us and try and do, I think, well, you cannot duplicate us as people. You can try and make content and say, but you've probably got something really special that you would go viral about, but you're so busy trying to be like Lucie and Lucy or trying to do something that we're doing that you're completely missing, and it's never going to be the same. You might get, there's formulas with content, and they look at our formulas, break it down. Okay, this is how they hook it. This is what they do. Blah 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 blah. But where's that actually getting you? And the thing is with our content style is because it's so erratic. Like you said, there's no method to it. So it's really hard for people to catch up because we're just dodging here, there and everywhere. And we're in Belfast Airport and you've got 4 TikToks. People go, God, I've got to go to Belfast Airport now and make 4 TikToks. It's like people can't keep up. Yeah, exactly. And we're just doing whatever, whenever. We're very much in our own lane. And when people say, how are you guys smashing it so much? I'm just saying to people, just be yourself. Don't look at us and go, they're doing so well, I need to do what they're doing. No, because it won't work. Yep. But if you do what you're doing, then you'll probably be in the same boat as Lucy and I.